morning. Today, I would like to talk about my theory essay topic. My topic is how the spatial urban space and the society connect with each other. Here is my essay structure. First, I will talk about the abstract aspect. And then, in the introduction part, I will define spatialization and urbanism. Once more, I will explain the roles and functions of the urban space. Jumping into the body paragraph, I would like to talk about the relationship between space and the society. What's more, I would like to list out some examples of the developing and urbanism perspective and how people alter an urban space. In the summary part, I would like to talk about the importance and impact of different kinds of spatial urbanism design and also the designs of urban spaces which reflect the needs of a society. First, I would like to define spatialization in the introduction part. Spatialization is the general sense of the social space typical of a time, place, or culture. It can also be explained as cultural formations, which means that spatialization are achieved according to place and space activities in different sites and regions. Nevertheless, spatialization depends on people's ongoing performative activities and their applications with the space. On the other hand, urbanism refers to ways of inhabitants interact with the built environment. You can also name it as urban planning. Urbanism can also be explained as placemaking and the creation of place identity at a citywide level. While the urban spatial planning can be understood as the methods and approaches or even designs by the public to influence the distributions of activities in the spaces of various scales. Exploring through spatialization and urbanism, there are various roles and functions of urban spatial design and activities. First, inhabitants transform existing conditions into preferred ones. For example, they provide specific functions according to their own needs. What's more, inhabitants create their own spaces. They transform to architects and urban planners in order to make use of different spaces. Last but not least, it actually altered the function of the original spatial design, which I will talk about it later. Jumping into the body paragraph, I would like to talk about the relationship between spatial and the society. Looking into the term spatial dialectics, it is talking about an urban space is a social space, which they actually merge together. While design space and lived space cannot be separated. On the other hand, urban space is equal to a social space. While the former means that it is a making by designing, and the later one represents a making by living. Here remarks the essential relationship between the spatial and the social. Recently, there are other approaches which we can see inhabitants start to value their self-interventions instead of using the already laid out urban plans. They have their own design thinking on how to make use of social spaces. It is a social interaction in the public spaces. People make use of different space with different methods and approaches. Such a move brings them together between the spatial and the social. In this page, we can see that there are the actor, scale, and also time frame, which defining the spatial formations of everyday space. We can see that if the number of people increase, the physical structure becomes more feasible and also permanent, as the scale is also expanding at the same time. On the other hand, the formations stand for creations by the users in urban spaces for their needs, interests, or other aspects of usage. In the next part, I would like to talk about the daily examples making use of the spatial urban space. On the left-hand side, we can see that some chairs are being put outside the house. they design a new space and place for them except the area inside the house. It can actually be defined as the recreation process of a living social space. On the right-hand side, putting in between place of private and the public. There are plants being put beside the house. Putting something belong to him or herself in the public space, engaging between the spatial urban space. In these pictures, we can see that formations occur independently generated by the everyday users. I will include more examples in my essay and looking deeper into each other in my essay in order to elaborate how spatial urban space connect with the society closely. And then I would like to look into the daily examples happened in Hong Kong. Hong Kong is a very crowded city. No matter we want to find a place for parking or rest, we may need to spend 30 minutes on it. Therefore, comparing between Hong Kong and other foreign countries of the differences using of spatial urban spaces would be interesting because the Hong Kong and foreign countries are totally two different kind of space. In Hong Kong, citizens urge to make the maximum usage of a space. Like you can see in these three pictures, they may build up an extra place except from their own houses, having different activities on the road, or using some traffic cones to occupy a parking space. All these show how the society itself connects with the spatial urbanism concept. Last but not least, I will talk about how inhabitants alter the designs of the urban spaces. We can distribute the uses of an urban space into two main streams, which are the everyday design operations and the spatial area. The former use is rather immediate and practical, like you may find some elderly sitting on the street and playing chess game, or you may find two girls sitting beside the roadside and they just gossiping around. We can also say that it is actually a reappropriation of space in the compositions aspect. On the other hand, changing the design of the original urban spaces, the spatial area itself can be counted as outside the home, street corners, etc. So as to cohere with the social life. In conclusion, discussing how people design spaces with their needs focused on the spatial qualities of lived space and designs of urban spaces reflecting the needs of a society would be two highlights in the summary. For my final project, I would like to do the sound remixing. The idea is to explore the spatial urban spaces and the structures in Hong Kong. Apart from this, I also want to find out different interesting ways of how Hong Kong people in their own places alter the original urban spatial functions by their own spatial designs. Finally, I want to look into the linkage between the society and the urban spaces by their sound performances. Talking to the method of how I would like to present my final project, I will record some sounds which generated by the activities related to urban spatial spaces, such as traffic jam, people talking on the roadside, etc., and remix them together into a single sound clip. I would like to perform the sound clip, adding the binaural effect in order to enhance the sense of reality and let the audience to feel that they just like they can feel the environment of the activities. If there are other needs, I will place 4 to 5 clips related to the activities so as to help the audiences to imagine the pictures of the sounds generated by the activities. Here are some examples of how the activities related to the designs of urban space, and we can have a look into these videos. In this video, you can see that people are trying to find some spaces or some locations to do their laundry and to dry their clothes. And for example, the street was not supposed for them to dry their clothes, but on the other hand, they just altered the spatial space and designed a new space for their own usage. And let's look into another clips together.
好似深水埗呢條街咁，兩邊嘅咪標位都泊滿晒車，而且有時佢又會人肉擋車，夾住周圍嘅環境。一收到熟客 order 咧，就會即刻預留咪標位，等架車一嚟到就嗱嗱臨移開張凳，讓個位俾車主。華叔喺鴨寮街呢度打等咗10年咁耐，佢一霸就霸咗成條街兩邊大約20-30個嘅咪標位，好似變咗佢嘅私人停車場咁，做生意圖利。
4個鐘40蚊，5個鐘50蚊公道㗎，最公道啊！又唔會收多你。咁5個鐘你賺10蚊咯喎，2蚊個。係啊，賺10蚊。係啊，冇幾多賺嘅。5個鐘頭先賺你10蚊，好少啊。
On the other hand, you can see that in this video, someone is trying to use the traffic coin to occupy the parking space in order to make a business. In these two clips, we can find out that there are many different sounds produced. Meanwhile, someone is trying to change the original design of a space which is connected to my essay topic. Therefore, I would like to look into different cases happening in Hong Kong in my final project, and I will go out to record some sounds produced by these activities. For example, some like boo 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 to ask someone to move away the traffic cone, and then we mix them together to let the audience feel how the spatial urbanism spaces connect with the society in Hong Kong. Here is my references, and this is the end of my presentation. Thank you.